Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ria. Today I'm making a delicious combo of kitchery, also known as kitchari or kitchery, a roasted tomato choka done in the oven, and stewed gizzards. The kitchery and tomato choka are both vegan, so there's something for everyone today. I'll show you all my tips, tricks and secrets, so if you're interested, let's start cooking. Let's prep the gizzard. The first thing we'll need to do is to remove the skin or the lining of the gizzard. I read that has many medicinal properties in Chinese medicine, but I'm not a doctor and that's not my forte, so we will stick with the recipe. Plus, it will be very difficult to convince anyone from the Caribbean to leave that skin on. Find any point where the skin meets the muscle and just peel away. It's really quite a satisfying task. Sometimes you need to invert it in order to peel it. If you're not interested in this type of work, you can buy it cleaned from your butcher or supermarket. Next, I usually cut it into quarters down the middle and each half into two. Gizzards are not only delicious, they are low in fat, high in protein, rich in iron, good source of B12, contains selenium, promotes cardiovascular, brain and bone health, boosts metabolism, and it's good for the immune system. Almost 2 pounds, $2.39 per pound. Total cost $4.56. And in the next step, I'll soak the gizzard with the juice of lime or lemon or vinegar and enough water to cover. I'll soak it for about 20 minutes. After soaking, I'll do a final review and remove any questionable bits. When in doubt, just cut it out. And I'll rub between my fingers to remove any slime. Cleaning and prepping is very important and will ensure that it does not taste like it's been sitting in a refrigerator in the supermarket for a long time. We'll also remove any freshness. Next, we'll season with green seasoning, about 3 tablespoons, hot pepper, 1 tomato, finely chopped, half of a large onion or 1 small onion, chopped, 1 scallion, because that's all I had in the fridge, 1 teaspoon of salt or to taste, and a half teaspoon of black pepper. 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, half teaspoon of turmeric, I just felt like adding it, and a handful of herbs. I have some parsley and 1 leaf of pudina, also known as Cuban oregano, that I have growing in my living room. Next, I'll mix well to combine. I'll marinate for a minimum of 30 minutes or overnight covered in the fridge. Let's cook the gizzard. Heat a couple of tablespoons of oil in a small pot over high heat. Add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Reduce heat to medium. A lot of folks struggle with the browning of the sugar in the Caribbean stewing process, so watch very carefully as this develops. I am stirring so that the sugar will cook or brown evenly. At any point it begins smoking, reduce the heat to low. Have your cover ready if you're using a shallow pot. It is frothed, bubble, expanded and darkened. Time to add the meat. Raise the heat to high. Stir quickly. Grated ginger. Cook for 5 minutes to allow the color to seal in, and then we'll cover, reduce the heat to low, and cook for about 20 to 30 minutes or until the gizzard is tender. Add a few sprigs of thyme and reduce the heat to low. Next, I'll measure out the dal, but first I need to do a refill. I recently purchased this bean dispenser and I really love it. I bought 2 of them. I'll leave the link below if you're interested. I was happy to eliminate about 14 containers from my pantry, and the beans are so easy to dispense. Measure out about ½ pound or 1 cup of dried split peas. I'll check on the stew. I like stirring it every 5 minutes or so to ensure that whatever is at the top goes to the bottom. This promotes even cooking and maximum assimilation of flavor. Next, I'll rinse the dal, and I'm saving the water to water my plants with. I also love this rice dispenser. It holds about 20 pounds of rice. I just added some markings for the measurements. The dal is for the kitchery, and we need to boil it until it's fully cooked but still firm. This is about 5 cups of water over high heat. We'll bring it to a boil.
Timer 01 for 20 minutes, starting now.
It will cook for about 20 minutes and then check the doneness. The gizzard has relinquished and cooked in its natural juices. I'll give it another stir and I'll check for doneness. Still needs more time, so I'll cover and continue to cook. Leo is very keen to see what's happening in the kitchen. At this point, most of the liquid has evaporated and it's still not tender enough, so I'll add a cup or 2 of water and continue to cook. Next, I'll make a no-fuss tomato or tomato choka. You'll need tomatoes, tomato, hot pepper, and garlic. I'll place it on a sheet pan and into the oven under the broiler. It's been cooking for about 20 minutes, but it's still a little hard, so I'll continue to cook for another 10 minutes. Next, I'll rinse the rice for the kitchery. I always try to save the water for the plants. I don't always remember, but I do when I remember. Removing the hot pepper because it's fully roasted. The stewed gizzard has been cooking for about 40 to 45 minutes. I'll remove the thyme sprigs, give it a stir, test for salt, see if anything is needed. You can add chopped herbs at this point, culantro, bandania, scallion or parsley, anything, but that's optional. And this is done. As long as it's tender enough for you and it tastes delicious, it's done. Smells really amazing. Tastes phenomenal. Still a little chewiness to it, which I love. It's going to be amazing with my kitchery tomato choka. Let me give it a taste. Absolutely delicious. And nutritious. Yum. Take off the fire and you're done. And the dal, also called split peas, is ready. Cooked for about 20 to 30 minutes. The tomatoes are ready when you see that the flesh has surrendered to the heat and they are nicely charred on top. While this is cooling, we'll get started on the rice. Here's my mise en place, so cooking will be very easy. You'll heat the oil over medium heat. Add whole cumin, about a teaspoon, along with about half teaspoon of turmeric powder. We'll cook until the cumin, also known as jeera, is nicely toasted, and then we'll add in the onion, about 1 onion chopped. After a minute or 2, add in the minced garlic and the hot pepper, and we'll cook that for another 2 minutes. Check out the original video for kitchery where my mom taught us how to make it. I'll leave the link above and below. Next, we'll add in our jasmine rice, and this is 2 cups. Next, we'll add 1 pound of frozen defrosted spinach. The dal, that was about half a pound of dal that we cooked. About 4 scallions chopped. A couple of sprigs of thyme. Salt to taste, and I use Himalayan salt. About 8 leaves of culantro chopped. I just have some ground, so that's what I'm using. If you don't have culantro, also known as bandania, you can use cilantro in this recipe. After it's well combined, you'll add any reserved liquid from the split peas. And I've also mixed half block of coconut or half can of coconut with enough water to make about 6 cups of liquid. And I've added that to the pot. Then we'll stir well to combine. Once it comes to a boil, reduce the heat to low, cover and cook until the rice is fully cooked, very soft and mushy. Now let's continue our prep with the tomato choka. Next we'll have to peel the tomatoes. Roasted in the oven makes it very easy to peel off the skin. Sometimes if you roast it on the stove or on a burner, the skin gets very charred and it's very difficult to remove. Roasting over direct flame will be more delicious. Next, you'll mash using the best tool in the kitchen, your hands, or if you're a proper person, you can use a fork. But it's much more difficult with a fork, I can assure you. Next, we'll add the roasted garlic and hot pepper to the mashed tomatoes. If you don't like spicy food, you can remove the seeds or eliminate the hot pepper completely. Use gloves if you're sensitive to hot pepper. For the next step, it's crucial to use a fork because we don't want hot pepper all over our hands. And the fork will also help us to mix all those flavors together. Add salt to taste. I love thinly sliced onions in my tomato choka, so I'm using this handy dandy slicer. For the final step of the tomato choka, we'll chunke. It's also called tempering. I've added about 3 tablespoons of oil to the pot. I'll add half of the sliced onions to the tomato choka. If you like raw onions, you can add all of it. We'll cook until the onions are nicely golden brown. You can also add more hot pepper and garlic here, but I think we have quite enough. Then we'll chunke the tomato choka. That means adding the hot oil to the mashed tomatoes. Whisk to combine and fully incorporate all the ingredients. Taste and add salt if more is required. And that's it. So easy and absolutely delicious. Time to check on the kitchery. And remember, we're not making spinach rice or split pea rice. We're not making a grainy rice. Kitchery has to be mushy and soft. And in order to achieve that texture, we will need to add a little more liquid. It should be the same texture as risotto, and the same technique we'll apply here. We'll continue to add liquid until we achieve that texture. I'll cover and cook for another 10 to 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. Hang in there, we're almost done. The tomato choka is done, the stewed gizzard is done. Now let's finish up the rice. It took me about 30 years to master the art of getting my rice to this texture and consistency, because this is exactly how my mom made it. And I never really understood the process until she taught us in the last video. Now I'm very happy that the taste and texture is as close to hers as it will ever get. This is the taste of home and comfort for me. And that's all there is to it, my sweet friends. I hope you have enjoyed being in the kitchen with me today. I have enjoyed sharing my meal with you. Please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends and social media community. Leave a lovely comment below. You know I always love hearing from you. And subscribe if you haven't, if you wish to see more. Until next time, stay safe, be well, cook, share, and love. Bye-bye.